Yeah, hello and welcome to the daily crypto market review, starting with, of course, Bitcoin. Right now, we are seeing Bitcoin is making lower highs as well as lower lows. If you are seeing the 4-hour chart with me right now, I have marked the support and resistance level of Bitcoin, and you might be observing that these are the exact levels from where Bitcoin is bouncing or being rejected. But just for instance, if you see Bitcoin rejected from this level, however, bounced from this level. And when these levels are combined with the exponential moving average, right now I have opened exponential moving average of 14, 21, 55 and 100. If you are seeing the exponential moving averages coincide with these horizontal supports, then the support becomes strong. And that is where exactly we expect BTC to bounce. For example, if we see this one area, we are having a horizontal resistance support of 21,800 level, and if you see the exponential moving average, that is the 100 exponential moving average, is also acting as a decent support in the 4-hour time frame. However, I have posted on my Twitter that I'll be dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin in spot trade at the level of price range between 21,750 to 21,690 level. And if BTC goes down, then I'll be further adding Bitcoin into my portfolio at about $21,000 level as well as $20,800 level, as is a lot of chance for BTC to bounce from this level and continue the move upwards. There are also possibilities that Bitcoin can retest this particular bottom of the channel, as we have seen Bitcoin whenever tested the bottom of this channel, it moved its way upwards. Similarly, there is a scenario if Bitcoin didn't stop at each of these two strong supports with a combination of exponential moving average, we can see Bitcoin retest this trend line, that is the ascending trend line. If we zoom out and see on the 4-hour time frame, let's turn off the exponential moving averages. Yes, on the 4-hour time frame, Bitcoin bounced off once it here, then one set here. If we expect Bitcoin to reach at this level, breaking these supports, then we can see Bitcoin may bounce from here or even the level of $20,000 as a strong psychological support. However, I still expect there is an upside expectation in the Bitcoin price because of certain reasons I'll be discussing shortly, including the global macroeconomic situations. Right now, we are seeing Bitcoin is bleeding, and definitely in this video, I am here to give you an idea what is the most probable scenario in my opinion, although I'm not a financial advisor, but the most probable scenario in my opinion, considering the technical perspective as well as the fundamental and macro global economic situations. So moving on towards the Bitcoin dominance. Right now we are observing Bitcoin dominance is in sideways motion. The range is between 42% to 42.5%. If we break above this level, as this is clearly showing that it is a strong support level right now and Bitcoin is not breaking below it. If we go above it, and this is where we broke down the support of 42.33 level, and that is when we saw the news of Ethereum merge came. Ethereum is the second largest cryptocurrency, and of course uh, it has a large share of market capital, and that is when the Ethereum news of the merge came, that the merge would be probably announced in September. Then we saw the Bitcoin break down the support as Ethereum price started to push up. Then briefly after a certain period of time, we saw the boom in the Bitcoin dominance and the altcoins started to bleed. And now right now we are seeing Bitcoin dominance further retrace to the support level of 42.33, and it can go up at least to a level of 43%, as there is a very minor resistance between these two levels. And psychologically speaking, this is the most probable level should at least be reached if the Bitcoin price has to move up. Now discussing the global economic factors, starting with Nasdaq. So I'll be doing a technical analysis of Nasdaq and give you an idea what is going on in the market actually. Right now we are seeing Nasdaq has opened a little bit red right now, if we see on the cipher indication, we have red dot indications here, and whenever we see the red dot indications, we slightly retrace down, and if you see the red cross indication on cipher, then we see a hard dump in the market usually. Right now we are not expecting any breakout above in the Nasdaq technically speaking. However, there are certain factors, if I discuss them fundamentally, they are good indicators that market can rally. Howsoever, Nasdaq is showing two levels. If the Nasdaq break down the support of 297 points, then we can see Nasdaq retest this trend line. However, if the Nasdaq today breaks out above 306 points, then we can see the targets would be 309 and 310 points. Right now the market is sideways, so there is no decision or a specific direction for the stocks overall. Moving on towards the dollar currency index, the dollar currency index is showing that it is bleeding and it broke the first trend line of support, and we expect this further trend line to be retested at 105 points. Right now the dollar currency index is at 106. If the dollar currency index retests this trend line at 105, then we can see the market of cryptocurrencies as well as the stocks to rally a little bit, because whenever the dollar currency goes down, we see an inverse relationship between the stock market as well as the cryptocurrency market. And if the particular direction which I already have marked in the chart, if you are seeing, if we retest this trend line, that means that dollar currency index has to come down, and if it retests this trend line, then we can see the the strength index to go down towards 105, and that would be bullish for the crypto and stock market overall. But if this support didn't hold, then the next target for dollar currency index or the support for dollar currency index would be this one trend line. And since it is a ascending trend line, so no particular price can be marked right now, because depends at what time period the dollar currency index hits this trend line. But certainly it is below 105 and above 104 index, so that would be overall bullish for the market if we break the support and didn't hold at this point. Right now I am going to stick to this trend line, and if dollar currency index successfully bounces from this trend line, then we can see further bleeding of the market after a brief pump in the market when the dollar currency index is going down. Moving on towards S&P 500. S&P 500 is very important for this week, since we have earnings this week, report of the Fortune 500 and the big companies. So S&P 500 will be very much affected by the earnings. If the earnings report is very good or exceeding the or even breaking the expectations of the investors in the market, then we can see a good decent rally in the market. But the immediate resistance for S&P 500 is exactly at 4,000 points. So S&P 500 is very near to its resistance as well as Nasdaq. So we can still expect markets to rally in the short term, as indicated by the dollar currency index, Nasdaq and S&P 500. Moving on towards some stocks that are holding the Nasdaq back. First is Snapchat. Snapchat earnings report didn't came out very well. If you see the earnings report, the expected revenue was approximately 1.13 billion. However, the reported revenue was 1.11 billion. That is 26 million lower than the investor expectation, and that is when Snapchat went down about 38% from that current price of 21st July to 22nd July, and that was a single day loss for Snapchat, and it is considered as one of the major crashes in the stock market of that day. So Snapchat didn't only drop that much in a singular day. If we see back again on 23rd May, Snapchat went down again. And because of Snapchat, other social media platforms, the news aren't any good either. If you see the Meta, that is Facebook stock rebranded as Meta, is not performing any well either. If you see, that is a large gap created just because of the crashing market of Meta. Right now Meta earning report is expected to be announced on 27th of July. Last earning report was good, while earnings report before the last one wasn't that much good, and it is in red color, indicating a lot of crash in the market. Whenever we see a bad earnings report, we see a crash in the market. Similarly, for Snapchat, we see a bad earnings report, we saw crashes in the market. Moving on towards Twitter. Twitter stock is not also performing any well either. As soon as we saw that Elon Musk announced that he is not willing to buy Twitter anymore and cancelled the deal to buy Twitter at around $40 billion, then we saw a rapid crash in the Twitter stock prices for almost 3 days consecutively. And then the Twitter earnings report as well came, and that was a surprise of minus $142.484 million. That is the less earnings earned as compared to the expectations of the investor. That crashed the market. Not yet, however, we are seeing Twitter moving sideways. But this news has to technically crash Twitter, which is what I think we will be seeing today or in a couple of days. However, these three, as well as the other stocks related to the social media platforms, are not performing any good, and that is overall pulling the stock market down currently. Moving on towards other news, we have earnings this week. On Monday 25th, we have the new Mount earnings report. Then on Tuesday, Microsoft, Coca-Cola, McDonald's, and Google. And on Wednesday, we have Boeing, Kraft, Ford, Meta earnings report. Then on Thursday, we have Apple, Amazon, Intel, Pfizer earnings report. And on Friday, Exxon, Chevron, Procter & Gamble, and AstraZeneca earnings report. And these earnings report are so important that you'll see this week is expected to be the most volatile week for this month. If all of the combined earnings report are positive, then we can see a rally in the market, and overall Bitcoin can even hit the target of $25,000 to $28,000. However, if earnings report of the earlier reported stocks is not good, as we have already broken down the 200 weekly moving average, which is acting as a strong resistance right now in the price of Bitcoin, that is $22,700, then we may face further more difficulties in the way upwards, and that would be overall negative for the crypto market prices. Moving on towards another global macroeconomic factors, that is the stagflation. Stagflation is defined as a period of time in which the economic activities are not growing as well as the inflation is increasing. So these are the two negative things expected to happen in America. When the economic activity is not growing, means that the number of jobs and the people employed are decreasing, and more people are being unemployed, or their employment ratio or even their earnings are decreasing, while the inflation is going in the opposite direction, which is obviously not being able to control by the US Fed. And we have seen the effects of of it in the stock market. However, if US falls into a recession, then we are going to a stagflation year, or even a multi-year stagflation, as we have seen that we are still in quantitative tightening phase and the stock markets are not doing very well, and even we have termed the time period as the bear market. If the recession also falls upon United States officially, then we are officially in the period of stagflation, and that would be overall negative for the Bitcoin, and I think that would be the final catalyst for pushing the Bitcoin below the price of $15,000 or even $12,000. If the video was helpful for you, please hit the like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.